Week 4 presents us with our first international match of the 2023 NFL season as Atlanta Falcons and the Jacksonville Jaguars demonstrate to Europe how to play American football, as we will hopefully see some TDs being dropped into the British Harbor here. I was trying to work on a joke there, but let me know how it goes. But it's going to be a great game. I do always love these international matchups. I think it almost, just because of the travel and the whole festivities, I definitely think it equalizes the field. Like, there hasn't been too many. I mean, just off the top of my head, I didn't look at this before. There hasn't been too many horrible international games that instantly come to my mind. I remember there were good ones last year. The Vikings Saints, I'm pretty sure it's Vikings Saints, had an amazing game last year. Normally, whenever Jacksonville goes, those games are normally pretty good. I know Atlanta and Jacksonville went several years ago. Yeah, and it was a good matchup. So I'm looking forward to this one. Also, with being a Falcons fan. Love to see them bounce back after a tough loss in week 3. But Jacksonville had an even tougher loss. So it's kind of one of the things I want to throw over to you. What are your expectations from each team? What does each team have to do to win? And some things to be concerned about.
So, first off, I think the Jags loss was definitely really bad last week. I think they probably underestimated the Texans a little bit and just came in ill-prepared, and they got burned. At this level, nobody is that far ahead where you can completely overlook an opponent and win. So I think that did happen a little bit there. The Falcons, I think the Lions might have been just a little too good for them. That offense in Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff had a good game. And so that to me, I think like the Lions might have been just a little bit better. So for me, for the Jaguars to come in and win, they need to get this passing game back on track. Trevor Lawrence didn't look super great last week, and he's had a pretty rough start to the season. He needs to get back to that middle season form that he found last year. And so for me, that comes with it. Also, I think this defense, they've been pretty good against the run, only allowing 84 yards a game. And they need to keep that up. They need to force Desmond Ridder to be able to make plays here. And on the flip side of that, the Falcons, they need to come in and establish a dominant offensive line early. I do think they will have some trouble with the pass rushers in Jacksonville. I know Josh Allen went off the field last week. I don't see him on the injury report right now. Oh, yeah, he is. Never mind. He's questionable. And then Trayvon Walker just hasn't really shown his true potential yet, I don't think. So it's going to be interesting to me. But I do like both of these teams, and I think it's going to be a good game. So what do you think, as the resident Falcons fan, that the Falcons have to do?
Well, I think that's a good point, too. Like, looking at it now, and I know it's only 3 games into the season, but Jacksonville is 6. And they've given up the 6th most passing yards, which maybe could be an opportunity for the Falcons to exploit a little bit. But then when it comes to the rushing yards, they are pretty good, actually. They are about 8th best in the league in just rushing yards allowed. So I think the Falcons, one of the things with the Falcons game, I just didn't like the game plan overall. I think Desmond Ridder threw for 38 passes, and then there's only 20 rushes. And I know I don't want to be one-dimensional, but I would, if there's going to be a one-dimensional side, I want it to be the other way. I want to have 38 rushes, Bijan, Tyler Algier just pounding the ball. Our offensive line is good.
The offensive line is good going forward.
Well, it's okay to average in pass blocking at best. But then when it comes to the run game, it's one of the best. And so that's why I don't see why we would go away from that. And it's one of the things we need to just go back to our strengths. We obviously need to see Desmond Ridder perform better in the passing game. He does need to have a little bit better protection, but also at the same time, he just missed some throws. Some of those sacks, some of the 7 sacks that the Lions got last week definitely was pass protection breakdown, but there was also him hanging onto the ball too long, I think making questionable decisions at best. And I think one of the things, too, against the Jacksonville defense, and they're not going to have as of right now, it looks like Devin Lloyd is not going to play. And so also then to another guy that is out, DeJuan Smoot, which is going to be a big loss for them on the defensive side of the ball. I think we need to come out with game plan. We're just going to pound the ball, and then that's going to open up the play action against this Jacksonville defense that has given up nearly 800 yards so far through 3 games. So I think that defensively, actually, I can't believe I'm saying this in the lifetime of this channel, and we've been doing this for 3 years. I'm kind of okay with the defense. I know we've only had a handful of sacks throughout the season at most, but even that Lions game, we had 9 pressures, and that's going to come. I think Grady Jarrett, Calais Campbell, I think David Onyemata, all those guys are doing great. Caden Ellis was having a big game. One big loss is kind of the first big loss that I could think of. Troy Anderson, our young linebacker, who's exciting to watch, gets all over the field. Looking like he's going to have shoulder surgery. Last I heard, that's going to be something to monitor. But he's definitely out for this week. He's got put on IR.
Yeah,
but it might be season ending, and so that's going to be something to watch. I think Nate Landman replaced him and played well, and so we'll just need to keep that performance going on. And then Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell leading that secondary. Jeff Okudah came back. He did play in the game. I think he was on kind of a snap count, so I want to see him keep going back and forth. So I think that they're going to be able to match up well against Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk. Also, too, we need to see if Zay Jones comes back. That's kind of a loss because with Zay Jones out on the field, that's 3 good receivers and Evan Ingram, who is one of the better pass-catching tight ends. So that's 4 really good options, not including running backs in the backfield. Yeah. So that's going to benefit Atlanta a little bit. It's going to be interesting. I think that I think the X factor to me overall is going to be Jacksonville's offensive line. Anton Harrison hurt his ankle in the last game. He had to come out. It's already a thin offensive line with Cam Robinson being suspended. And if I'm being honest with the once again, I never thought I'd say this, but I think Atlanta's defense can win this game for Atlanta. I think they can keep providing pressure on that offensive line, and that's been the bugaboo for Trevor Lawrence's performance, in my opinion. He might still need to just keep getting into a better rhythm, but he is under pressure a lot. I think the offensive line is weaker than initially anticipated with Cam Robinson's suspension. I'm actually going to lean towards, and I guess maybe just make me more enjoyable to watch the game. But I'm actually going to lean for the Falcons. I think with Bijan and just the explosiveness of his playmaking, I think they're going to bounce back and understand, hey, we need to run the ball and establish the run. And then that's going to open up the passing game against this weaker secondary.
Yeah, I'm going to lean the other direction. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but in odd games like this, by odd I mean overseas, they're going to be playing at a different time than normal. Their bodies are going to be adjusting. I tend to just lean with teams that have more playmakers. And I think you look at the Jacksonville offense versus the Falcons offense. And
I like it.
Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. Even you don't throw Zay Jones in there. I still think that's just a really nice stack against this Falcons team. And on the flip side of that, I think the Jags, they're going to be tough in the run game, and I think they're going to put Desmond Ridder in some uncomfortable situations because they do get after the passer pretty well.
Oh no, they do. It's going to be, and that's why I think for the Falcons coming out and if they come out with the same game plan against the Lions last week, they're going to lose. And I think that they learned from this mistake. It's almost like last week they tried to establish the pass. It'd be like, hey, we could throw the ball, so you better back up, and then we'll run the ball. I almost think they're going to be like, okay, we're going to run the ball. We know we can run the ball.
But so, this is just a serious question. This is not like a gotcha moment. But, were they in that mode because Detroit was like, we are not letting you run the ball? And, they had everybody real close to the line of scrimmage, so then the Falcons tried to burn them deep and weren't able to? Or was it just like the Falcons were like, hey, let's try to catch them off guard and come out throwing type of deal?
I would need to go back and look, especially to just on the play sequences. But if my memory is correct, the first Falcons got the ball immediately. It was a 3 and out, and I think it was 3 drop back passes. Maybe some play action, but not like a rollout play action. But there was Desmond Ridder threw the ball all 3 times. To no avail, essentially.
Yeah, I was just curious because, I think the Jags are going to come out and they're going to be real close to the line of scrimmage. I don't think the Falcons have a ton of speed that will really beat them deep. Drake London he's a vertical threat, but he's not really a speedster. if that makes any sense. I actually think Kyle Pitts, it might be the like most awkward matchup with his size and speed combination. So I'll be interested to really see kind of what the Jaguars are able to come out and do on defense. And I think this is going to be a really good game. So
Jane, absolutely agree. It's going to be fun. I really like this series. It was awkward at first, but I love how they do spread the games out. I love watching Thursday night. Like I'll just have football watch. It's kind of like having baseball. Sunday morning now you can wake up, spreads the game out. You get to watch more teams play. But now also then with the YouTube multi-view, it doesn't matter as much. But you can still individually watch teams. So
yeah. But let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Is it going to be the Atlanta Falcons? Is it going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars? Let us know down below. And on that, we'll see you guys next time.